Venezuela, sailing with Kelly Merriman. We've got Josh Greenslade, their usual A Division skipper from Bermuda, and Kayla McComb sailing with him from Newport, California. And the third skipper is John Wallace from St. Petersburg, Florida, sailing with Katie Glaskin from Massachusetts.
Coming up on 30 seconds now. St. Mary's in yellow, Hobart in orange. And it looks like everybody wants to be at the boat. That pin does look very low to me. I don't think the pin got moved up nearly enough in this wind shift, so everybody's fighting for that boat end start. And we've got a boat over and circling for Hobart. We may have more boats over. Yep, there's the individual recall flag, but it goes right back down. So I think the only boat over was 7. And that's going to mean that St. Mary's gets off the line very well. It looks like they may have 2 pairs immediately. They're losing their third pair. No, they're winning their third pair as well. Well, you know, the St. Mary's team, you know, they're young, but they've got depth. It seems like these guys they've come up, but you know, anybody from the team could really go in. They've got a team sitting on shore here that I think anybody could be set.
Hobart too, a lot of depth there. 3 seniors. That does mean, you know, I don't know how they'll be doing with their depth next year.
That's true. I mean, that's always the question when you have a team like this. It's great to have you know, depth in your senior class, but once they're gone, you really need to bring up a recruiting class that also has depth.
That's true.
Well, looking upwind here, you know, St. Mary's, I said they had 3 pairs off the line. I don't think they have 3 pairs anymore. Look at Hobart. Boat 9 way out in front. Oh, that's going to be close. I think the other St. Mary's boat, though, with the starboard advantage, is going to be in front. So 3 boats battling for that lead position. St. Mary's would love to try to get on to the Hobart boat there, spring their friend, and go 1-2. Everybody coming to the right side of the course now. You know, we talked about lake levels. Jane, we were just out swimming during that break.
We were.
What? Right here at the pavilion, we're only about 20 feet offshore. Or, excuse me, we're about 200 feet offshore. But what do you suppose the depth is here?
Chris, I have no idea. I'm from New Zealand. We don't use feet.
Meters. Excuse me, Jane. Meters.
Depth in meters. Yeah. I couldn't say. All I know is that there are lots of fish. Couple ducks cruising around, and even a lake snake.
Yes.
We saw this morning. Did not put us off from swimming though.
No, well, it's comforting to know that the snakes do swim on the top here. They don't dive down to the depths of the lake.
I don't know why that's comforting.
Well, you can see it coming.
If it's in front of you. Anyway, first boat rounding here. Orange is Hobart, boat number 9. When we get a better visual, we'll try to tell you who that is.
In any case, it's only part of their job done. Boat 9 around in first, but their teammates holding down the 4-6 right now. Not a winning combination. And with that big gap, they've got a lot of work to do, actually. They can either have that fourth place boat drop way back and try to spring the last place boat, or they can continue to push forward and try to turn this into a 1-2. But you know what? They're not even going to have a chance here, as St. Mary's is immediately smothering that fourth place boat from Hobart.
I believe that's Victor. Victor in number 4.
So as I mentioned, St. Mary's in a winning combination, a 2-3-5, but not what we would call a stable combination. It gives too much of an advantage to Hobart to be able to drop back and turn into a winning combo. So St. Mary's thinking they would like to turn this 2-3-5 into a 2-3-4, and that would be much more stable, give them options. And so far, it's looking pretty good. You see that gap is already closed. St. Mary's trying to work over the top on the second leg.
Whoa.
Breaking the overlap, it looks like, and then coming back down. So boat 8 for Hobart has to now sail a proper course. They're still right of way. They're a leeward boat, and they can be inside at the mark, but they can't take them up again. They kind of get one shot at that. The only way they can go and try to go up again would be to double jibe. I just saw a hail of umpire from that boat 6, and it's a green flag.
And not on the screen right now, but we've got boat number 9 for Hobart just cruising along downwind, eyes back at what action is taking place behind.
Yeah, they're kind of leaving their team to the Sharks here.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see them turn around in a bit. Well, St. Mary's still has their work cut out for them. You can see in the current breeze, it's more starboard tack here, and so they've got to keep the two Hobart boats from rolling over them while they try to push back and turn a winning combo. They've turned their 2-3-5 into a 2-3-6, which is not so good for St. Mary's. Hobart now at a 1-4-5, a winning combination, but it's still very close as they go downwind. Just an update on the next race, race 4, Charleston, BC. They're in sequence. We'll stick with what we've got for now, but we'll send it down to the starting line in just a minute. So of course you may only count 5 boats on your screen. That's because the lead boat is still way ahead, but at least they are stopping and waiting, so we're going to see them come into this soon.
Still in this light air. I mean, it seems a bit dangerous to me because they're in kind of very different breeze than the people rolling down behind them.
Well, I think that's why they want to stay so far ahead. They've got the 1-4-5. They know that they can stop their boat before the mark if they have to, but they definitely don't want to be caught and find themselves out of position if they are needed. So right now, like you said, just looking back at the situation here, it was a 1-4-5. I'm not sure if it's going to hold on that way. All right, let's whip back down to the leeward mark rounding here. Mark 3. There is no Mark 4 in college team racing. Everybody stopped. Everything comes together. Who's going to come out ahead of this one? Hobart maintaining the 1. and maybe it's a 3. I think boat
I
8
think
comes around
so.
inside of everyone else. So Hobart with a 1-3-6, St. Mary's with a 2-4-5, and that's still going to be anybody's game as we come up to this last beat. They're in a big left phase right now, almost pointed at the finish line. Look at Hobart trying to work high over top of St. Mary's if they can break away 1-2.
8 is spinning.
Oh boy.
8 from Hobart, and they rounded in. What were they in?
Oh, they were the 6 boat.
Right.
So now they're going to be an even deeper 6. But Hobart came out pretty well there. They immediately pick up their 2 pairs. They're now covering the corners, and they've got a shot to go 1-2 here. But this last beat, full of surprises as we saw yesterday.
Yeah, so just remembering Hobart, first round they had 3 wins. Yesterday, second gold round, they had 5 wins, the best record in that round. And they've already had a win today. Looks like it may be another win.
Well,
here.
Don't jinx them, Jane. We've seen, how many races did we see lead changes between Mark III and the finish yesterday?
Yeah,
most of them happening in the last 10 seconds of the race.
True.
And that's just what you get when you have competitive, high-level team racing.
Oh, and 8 is still spinning.
Oh, dear.
I don't know why they are still spinning.
Well, until this wind shifts, nothing's going to happen. Hobart is going to continue to have this 1-2. But we may see a righty that's going to change that. So for now, let's head back upwind at the green and black boats, now approaching Mark 1. Boston College in black, Charleston in green. You can see them off on the horizon there.
And pretty steady, nice, light but steadier breeze now we're seeing across the course.
Yeah, it looks good out there. And as you said, super, super flat today, which is just fine for team racing. Makes it really easy to have close quarters maneuvering and good team racing moves. And actually, if we pull back here, we can watch 2 races at once. We do have Hobart tacking back over. The breeze has not really squared up too much. It's still a big left phase.
So this is, if we can see them here, it's 9 coming up to finish. That's Johnny Norfleet and All-American crew, senior Chris Cleven, tacking right now.
And so it looks like Hobart's going to pick up that win, very important win. That's going to put them on the top of the standings, at least for the moment. It also means that they have a 2-1 record against St. Mary's in the case of a tie. So Hobart is looking really, really good at this moment. Hobart still has 1 more race to go in the next flight against Boston College.
Yep, they've got to be feeling pretty good with how they're going so far, yesterday and today. But 1 more to go.
And the implications of that race depend entirely on the other races, including this one here, Charleston.